So this is my EURUSD strategy, the one that I'm going to use over this channel or for the foreseeable future anyway, to start acquiring some funding and hopefully get some payouts. So I've been using this strategy since September 2024, and it's a strategy that led me to my first few payouts. Now I really do like this strategy. It's very simple, and it just relies on basic market structure. Now it is a swing strategy, but it is a strategy that I can actually instinctively see when I look at a chart, which is a massive thing for me. When it comes to day trading, I really struggle with seeing the things instinctively. I tend to get caught up on especially when I trade on lower time frames and I've tried to put strategies together on lower time frames. I really do struggle. It's almost like I can't read it and I can't see it no matter how hard I try. But last September, October, when I put this strategy together, when I moved away from smaller time frames and zoomed out a little bit, this just stuck out to me like a sore thumb. So how it works is very basic market structure. So we use the 4-hour swing structure to work out direction. So whether we are in a continuation phase, so a trending continuation, or whether we're in a pullback. Now, how the strategy works is, if we're in a pullback phase on the 4-hour, we trade into the 50%, so down to the discount of that leg. We use the 1-hour structure to actually take our trades from, and how we take the trades is with basic limit orders on the 50% covering the 80%. So it's very simple. So let's jump onto the charts. I'll show you what I'm seeing as structure. So here we have a nice clean trending market on the 4-hour chart, EURUSD. So let's start out with 4-hour structure. So I'm seeing here on the 4-hour chart a low, a high, a low, a high, a low, high, low. So let's go on to the 1-hour. So the way I see 1-hour structure is this. I'm seeing high, low, high, low, high, low, high, a low, high, 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 low. I think that's enough. So now we know how I'm viewing structure. I'm going to show you how I mark it out. So I'm going here for the 4-hour low, here for the 4-hour high. When we have a change of character to the downside, that is when the pullback is initiated to me. And then same for the continuation. We need to have a change of character, which would be there. So you can see there that the pullback was initiated by that change of character, and then we have internal structure pulling back, and then we have a shift back up, giving another change of character, and that is initiating that continuation of the bull market. And it's the change of characters on the 1-hour time frame that are telling me when the 4-hour is changing its direction. So let me put it in bar replay mode, and I'm going to show you how that plays out. So on the 1-hour chart, let's see how things play out. Right, cool. So we've obviously have initiated a form of a pullback here on that swing leg. Now we've had a change of character, we can call that the 4-hour high. So given the fact that this is just the 1-hour, we need to check the higher time frame, which we would have already done. Now we're obviously in a bear market on a pullback, but if we look at the overall time frame, we are very bullish. So this is where my zones come into play, and it does work on higher time frames, lower time frames, and it's just the Fibonacci retracement. So that, I would say, that is the last low before the high on what to me would be the daily. And the key zones for me is simply premium and discount. So obviously, if we're in a bull market, a retracement into the 50% and beyond is into the discount of the range, and that's where we're looking for continuations back up to the highs, and obviously reverse if it was a bear market. So I mark this out between the 50 and 80%. These are the zones I'm looking for reactions from for continuations. So price is pushed up on the daily. On the daily, it's pulled back into the daily discount. Let's jump back onto the 1 hour. We've come into the daily discount, we've had a big reaction. So, to me, given the fact we're in the daily discount now, and we've had such a big reaction with no other structure forming, we can actually wait for this 4 hour high to go first, to be took out first before we look for a trade. Or we can have a go at getting in straight away. Go through this as if it was a real market. So I'm happy with buys. We're in the daily discount. We've had a big push up. I'm happy to take my bets on a long here at some point given the right conditions. So what we're going to do is, just like on the daily, on the 1 hour, we're going to mark out this, which is marking out the 50 to 80% zone of that 4 hour swing leg. We've mitigated that zone, so we can look for buys. Now, how do I decide when I want to buy? So for me, what I want to see is a breaker structure on the 1 hour internal structure. So for example, that would be this. Right here would be the 1 hour internal structure. So now we've had a mitigation of the daily. We've now had a mitigation of the 4 hour. So what we want to see now is the 1 hour chart break structure and give a change of character. So I tend to do this because that's my intention. I want that to go to give me a change of character on the internal structure. Right. It's gone. So we're happy to look for buys now. And then rinse and repeat. Get that fib level in. And given the fact that we've now took out the 4 hour high, I'm going to put a limit order on the 50%. I'm going to cover the 80%. I'm going to target a 1 to 2. So we've got broken structure again. Now on this example, we've got 1 hour high, 1 hour low. Now that 1 hour low there was never took out by the following leg. So that means that was not a 4 hour pullback because we haven't had the change of character to initiate the pullback. So this becomes one leg still. So we'll take the fib and extend it because we've not had the pullback yet. So I'm going to mark my zone again. Keep extending it up. Alright, so we've now had that change of the 1 hour again. Now this is what can happen. I marked out 50 to 80% zone is for this entire leg. However, we can see now that the market didn't view it that way. That was actually the zone. So anyway, once I see that change of character and then realize that it's actually a shallower zone, it's not pulling back as deep, then I'm happy to go again for longs. So now we've had that change of character. We're going to pull that fib, mark out our zone, and we just keep following it up with the fib. There we go. So we probably wouldn't have got tagged into saying that this isn't. Oh no, we would have, because that's an hour chart. So when we saw that pullback, we'd have got a limit order on there. Targeted our 1 to 2. And then there you go. Just with the volatility from news, we'd have been tagged into that trade, and then profit took. And let's keep it going. Let's have a look at this. Okay, clear change of character here on the 1 hour. Now, obviously, legs don't last forever, just moving up. Eventually price is going to want to pull back into this area here. Eventually it's going to want to. It's not going to keep going up forever. So I always just have that in mind, that we've had one one swing leg, two swing legs, three swing legs pushing up, 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 we're probably going to want, the market's going to want to take a breather eventually. So I have to keep that in mind, that, you know, we might not just be continuing up forever. So anyway, with that in mind here, I'm happy to take a little short, draw the fib, draw the zone. And the reason we're doing this is because we've had that change of character. We're overextended on a leg, so we can look to short that back to the 50% of the higher time frame. So you see how I'm just using higher time frames as the direction and the distance to trade to, and then I'm using the 1 hour change of characters, 1 hour's of break structures to draw the levels from the internal levels from and trade from. So let's go 1 to 2 again. There you go. That would have been a trade. Now, we are getting into the discount of that last swing leg. So this is where you got to be a little bit carefuler. So I would be sitting this out just to see if it wants to keep pushing lower, which it is. And there we go. Mitigation straight into the higher time frame, 50%. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep an eye on that, look for reactions, which we're getting. Now I'm happy to look to continue to the upside. There you go. Clear change of character here. Let's see how it goes. Pullback starting, so let's get the fib drawn. Mark our zone that we want to trade from. See if anything comes up. Nothing there. Alright, so draw the fib from here. Draw a zone. Good little reaction. Go with the 8 here, 1 to 2. Trade. There you go. So where I could have got caught out here is, and I actually think I did when I was trading this on the prop accounts. I remember these actual trades. I did this in real time. So instead of moving that fib level from, you know, that zone was missed, and then instead of going right, that's a low, and going to there and then trading from this zone, what I did was I drew it bigger, had that as one big leg, and then tried to short from here back down to the deeper retracement, which was just a horrendous idea. Again, this was another one of those periods where, like, why would you do that? It makes no sense when everything's going up. My own fault. And there you have it. That is the strategy. Now, the rules that change a little bit is where I'm actually getting in on limit orders and whether I do get in on limit orders at all. Sometimes conditions appear where you have like a really clean change of character on like the 15-minute. Although I don't look at the 15-minute chart, I can see that 15-minute change of character on the 1 hour chart on the time frame that I'm looking at. Now, I have set a rule to myself that I'm not allowed to zoom in past the 30-minute time frame, because that's when I start getting drawn into the market and making, you know, jumping the gun and getting in early, which is something that I really have to stay away from, because that's how I lose. That is my biggest flaw as a trader. Now, everything that I'm doing, I'm just trying to keep it clean, 4 hour structure, 1 hour internal, and then getting in the discount or premium, depending which way we're going. And that's how I'm getting in. Whether that's a limit order or sometimes, like I just said, I'll be seeing something happen and I'm happy to get in on that. So definitely has room for a lot of refining, but I do work, you know, full time anyway, although I work for myself, so I have got a lot of flexibility. But sometimes, well, most of the time through the week, I can't be sat at my computer waiting for setups to occur. This is why I've gone to the higher time frames and are using those, because I can set limit orders and walk away for the day, you know, and then let things play out. So as far as the taking profit strategy, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking 2 trades, and we'll be putting one position on that's going to go to a fixed hour of 1 to 2, because that gives me my highest win rate. And then we're going to have a second position that's a swing position that's going to trade all the way to the 4-hour highs or lows, or trading back to the 50% of the higher time frame swing. Now the reason for this is because often I'm leaving a lot of money on the table if I'm just going for the 1 to 2. So what I'm doing in place of that, putting 2 positions on, one that takes profit at a 1 to 2, so I'm constantly bagging profits, and then there's a second position and I'm just going to let it run all the way to the high. Now at this moment in time, my plan is to leave it to the trades can't be touched, I can't close them. I am going to be refining this as we go, and every week when I do update rules, I'll just do a new video updating some rules and showing a demonstration on TradingView just like that. So there we go, that's a strategy. Now I do have a demo account open, and I'm going to be on FTMO, a practice account, so I'm going to be trading that. I think I'm like 2% in profit at the minute. So the next videos you're going to see is trade breakdowns, an actual live trade, well, not live trades, but documented trades as we're going forward. And I'll just start showing you the P&L from where we're at now on this practice challenge. And then in a couple of weeks, once I've got back into the swing of it, got my confidence back up, feeling good, I'm into the rhythm with the camera, documenting it, then I'll get on to buying a proper challenge and then going for that 0 to 1 million in funding challenge and get that underway. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you want to watch the journey from 0 to 1 million in funding, please give me a subscribe, like the video, and yeah, watch me lose all my money in the near future. Nah, I don't think we will. I think we'll do well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.